Hi guys, it's Carrie with Rockin' Farm, and today we are in the kitchen in the farm because we are having extreme heat outside and they are calling for extreme heat indexes and for everybody to stay inside. So that's what we're doing today. But thank you for joining me today in my kitchen. I am so excited that you are here with us. If you are first time people joining us, please hit that subscribe button and subscribe to our channel. And right next to it, you'll see a notification bell. If you hit that notification bell, you will be notified each time I upload a new video. Well, thanks for joining us in the kitchen today. And in the kitchen today, we are going to be canning cowboy candy. Yesterday, I got exactly 4 pounds of jalapenos out of my garden, and that is exactly what I needed to do one batch of cowboy candy. And thank you for all of you who are joining me today again in my kitchen. Thanks for following our channel and giving us support. We thank you so very much and we love your comments, so keep them coming. Okay guys, are you ready to get hot and spicy? Because that's what we're doing today with our jalapenos. I am using the recipe from the ball, let me see, the ballmasonjars.com website. It's online and they call it candied jalapenos, but here on the farm we call it cowboy candy. So it is wonderful. It is, don't know what it is, it's spicy yet sweet and is really, really good. And it's not too hot, but it goes great with a lot of things. So it's a good thing to have in your pantry for those times when you're like, oh, I just need something different, something to spice up some stuff. Cowboy candy's got you covered. Okay guys, so let me go ahead and tell you what all we need for our recipe. And again, you can go to ballmasonjars.com and get this recipe. Also, I will try to just type it out in the description below. So if you look at the description of the video and you'll see like ... and it says more. If you hit that more button, then you'll be able to see everything that I am linking, and also you'll be able to see the recipe that I'm linking there. So what we're going to need are 3 cups of vinegar or apple cider vinegar or white vinegar. The most important thing you need to know about your vinegar is it has to be 5% acidity. If you go to the stores nowadays, they're kind of doing a little thing to this, our canners, you know. They're starting to put 4% vinegar on the shelf. You cannot can with 4% vinegar. It does not, it will not make your product safe. You've got to use 5% acidity vinegar, be it apple cider vinegar, white vinegar, any kind of vinegar that you're using. Just make sure that you do that. And guys, I live on a farm and I have a fly going around. So if you see him, I apologize. It's what happens on the farm. I try to keep them out, but anytime you open the door when you're on a farm and you're in the middle of cow field, you're gonna get a fly in your house. So I apologize for that random fly that is going around right now. So anyway, if you see him or see me swatting, that's what it is. Okay, so anyway, remember, 5% acidity on your vinegar. Okay, so the next thing we need is salt, sugar, garlic cloves, turmeric, cayenne powder, mustard seeds, and 4 pounds of jalapeno peppers. Exactly what I got out of my garden. Exactly 4 pounds. How wonderful. I mean, really? And guys, I carried this all in my t-shirt. Yeah, it was quite a feat trying to get in the door. So we've got 4 pounds of jalapenos ready. So the first thing that we're starting off doing is I have a water bath canner over here on my stove. There's that fly. And I have washed my jars. I have put 5 pint jars in my water bath canner just to keep them hot while I am mixing up all of my ingredients and getting everything ready for the canning process. Your jars always need to be hot before you use them, because if you go from a cool or just a warm jar and you put it into that water bath canner, it will explode. You don't want to do that. You have to keep your jars hot. Also, that is keeping them sterile while they are in that hot water. Even though I've already washed them, they're ready. And also, I've got my rings boiling. I am not going to boil my lids. I will put them into that water after I turn off the boiling, but just to make sure that my rings are really, really, really sterile, I'm boiling them right now and just letting them process over here. I don't think I got him. Process over here on my stove. I'm sorry, guys. I live on a farm. Okay, so that is all of our information or our ingredients and the first prep thing. The next thing we're going to do, as I'm reading the recipe, I want to make sure I tell you exactly the right way. I don't want to try to do it from memory, but I just want to let you know. Sorry, my computer's talking to me. I want to make sure that you know the correct way to do this canning process, because I want everything to be safe for you. And as always, you can always go to your extension office in your county. They can explain some canning safeties. They can also do a lot of canning classes. So that is a great place to go. And also your ball Blue Book is a good place. The ball, masonjars.com. Those are reputable places to get the right recipe. Some people make up their own recipes, which it might not be healthy. Some people have used them for years, but as far as me, I'm telling you to make sure that you use a recipe that is time and true tested by reputable people, reputable companies. Okay? That was just a disclaimer there. Let me put this up so I can read. I've got a large saucepan right here, and we're just going to add all of our ingredients into the saucepan, and then we're going to take it over to our stovetop, and we're going to mix it up, get it boiling real good, and make sure that that sugar is dissolved. Okay, I'm going to go back to my recipe and make sure I have everything. So we're going to do 3 cups of apple cider vinegar. And remember, we're going to make sure that we always use 5% acidity in your vinegar. Be it any type of vinegar that you are using, it must be 5% acidity. So we're doing 3 cups. And I decided to use apple cider vinegar just to give it a little more of that tangy, sweet taste from the apples. And I have to tell you, I love the smell of that vinegar. It smells divine. Absolutely love it. Okay, and then now what we're going to do, let me make sure I get that shut or I might accidentally spill it. We are going to do 2 teaspoons of salt. Teaspoons of salt, 4 cups of sugar, so now you can see how it is with it's going to be real spicy and really, really sweet at the same time. It is amazing. I absolutely love it. Let me know in the comments if you've had cowboy candy or if this is the first time you've ever heard of cowboy candy. Okay, after the sugar, we are going to do 6 cloves of garlic sliced. So I've got some fresh garlic that we had in our garden last year. I'm just going to kind of get these opened up. Okay, as you saw, I was putting a lot of garlic in there, but those cloves were so small, I just decided to put all of that one head of garlic in there. So the next thing after the garlic, we're going to put 2 teaspoons of turmeric in. Okay, then we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne powder. So you can see it does have just a little bit of a kick, but it's not going to be too much of a kick that you can't enjoy it. Because I'm not too much on a lot of spicy things. However, I do like this. It's not too spicy, so it's got that just the right amount of kick to it. Okay, after the cayenne powder, we're doing 2 teaspoons of mustard seeds. I'm going to do just a tad more. There you go. And then we're going to end up mixing this up on our stovetop and getting it to a boil, and we are going to make sure that the sugar is all dissolved. Okay guys, so right now what I'm going to do, I am going to start cutting and slicing the jalapenos, and you'd want them to be in rings. Now, if you want it to be super spicy, you can leave a lot of the seeds in. If you don't want it to be super spicy, just go ahead and take some of the seeds out. So that's what we'll do. And also, one thing you want to make sure when you are slicing anything that has a heat to it, like jalapeno peppers, any kind of pepper or anything that has a heat to it, you always want to wear plastic gloves so that after a while, the oils on the will get into your skin and they can start burning your skin. And you don't want that because you don't want to be miserable for the rest of the day. So we'll make sure that we always put our gloves on. And then what we're going to do, we are just going to start cutting these into circles or rings, they'll call them. I'm just going to cut the tip off right there, and then we're just going to cut them in rings. And you just want to make sure that they're all probably about the same size, and you can make them thick rings, or you can make them thin rings. That's all up to your preference. So what we're doing right there is doing a little ring, and then just kind of come through here and push some of those jalapeno seeds out because I don't want it to be super, super hot. Just tap, 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 and then there they go. Of course, they're going everywhere. So I'm gonna have jalapeno pepper seeds all over my kitchen by the end of the day, but that's okay. We're just gonna go through here and finish up making rings with our jalapeno peppers. One thing you do want to try to do is make sure you use the freshest jalapeno peppers that you can do, just because it makes it a little more crunchy. If you used jalapenos that you froze, just remember that the jalapeno, when you use it after it's canned, it's going to be a little more soggy. So just remember that in case you want to use frozen jalapenos. And like I said, right now what I'm doing, I'm just trying to get that center out just to make sure that I don't have too many seeds in it, because I don't want mine to be super, super hot. Okay guys, I've got all of the jalapenos sliced into rings. So now we're going to go over to the stovetop and we're going to finish up starting on our sauce that we're going to use to put into the jars with our jalapenos. Okay guys, we're going to turn our burner on and we are going to just do it on a medium heat for right now and start letting our goodness, this is really the goodness of the whole thing, start dissolving. We have to make sure that we get that sugar good and dissolved. And we'll just make sure that we'll start stirring it around and let it start dissolving. We don't want our sugar to scorch, so we want to make sure that we are keeping it moving. You can stop for a little bit, but I wouldn't stop for a long period of time because that could scorch your sugar on the bottom. You can see I've got my jars just staying warm, and we'll be using those in just a few minutes. Okay, so I've turned my heat up just a little bit, just so it will start boiling a little bit faster. The sugar is dissolved, but now we're just going to make sure that it doesn't scorch. So since I've turned the heat up higher, I'm just going to stay here and continue to stir, just because I don't want to ruin my sauce. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit because I can feel on the bottom where I'm not being able to keep up with the roiling boil. So I want to just slow that down just a little bit so I don't scorch it. There you go. It's going to start boiling now, but not uncontrollable where I'm going to not be able to keep it from scorching on the bottom. Sure does smell good. I'm going to need to add some more water to my water bath. So let's see how that's going. I might do that right quick while we're letting this boil. Let me do that real quick. And now we're going to add our jalapenos. And we're going to simmer them on medium heat for 15 minutes. So we're going to simmer these over medium heat for 15 minutes until they start to turn brown and absorbing a little bit of this brine. And you can see that there's some already starting brown in there. Water over this. So we're going to put a little bit more water in this to make sure that when I put my jars in, that it will cover the jars by 1 inch. Just a tad more. Oh yeah, I feel better with that one. Oh yeah, much better. Okay guys, well, as you know, I told you I didn't want to get this too hot and spicy, but I think I might have gotten a little spicy because just from pushing those jalapenos into there with my hand, I didn't realize I didn't wash my hands afterwards, and I went and got a glass of tea and I wiped the tea off my lip. My lips right here are burning just from the jalapenos being on my fingers, just from putting them in there. And oh, our timer's off. And as you can see, there are a lot of seeds floating. So I am going to try and see if I can get some of those seeds out. We are supposed to ladle this now into our jars. So let me go ahead and try to get some of the seeds out with my, I'm going to turn the heat off on that. I'm going to try to get some of the seeds out with this strainer because I don't want it too hot. So if I can get the seeds that will float, at least I'll get some of the heat out of there. Who knows? It might just be okay. I don't know. Maybe because they're super, super fresh jalapenos. I don't know. But we might not do that. Let's see. I'm going to put this over here. And just let me see if this is going to kind of be any kind of a, oh yeah. So getting some of those jalapeno seeds out of there. Okay, give me a little. So we're getting a little. It might help, it might not, but if it doesn't, then that's okay, I tried. So guys, just remember, sometimes things go a little different than what you planned and you just roll with the punches. It's no big deal. It's life. Find a new way to fix it. And I just did. That's quite a few, so we'll see how that happens. Okay guys, so we're going to move this over to the cabinet and get my jars out of here. See that? I don't think those are too hot. Bring those jars up. Okay. Okay guys, we are just going to bring the jalapeno mixture over and ladle it into our jars and then place it back into our water bath canner. So let's get these over here. Okay, I've turned the water off on that. Let me go ahead and get my seals and get them warming up also. Okay, I've got my ball regular seals here, and I think I have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll just put 5 into our hot water over there and let them start getting hot so that it will be easier for the sealant to adhere to the jar. Okay, so here we go. Oh, I do need to do one more thing. See, I forgot something. You have to use vinegar. So let me get a bowl. Now this is just going to be white distilled vinegar. And you don't need very much because you're just going to use it to clean the edges of your jars. There are our jars. So what we're going to do now, we are going to use a funnel. We're going to use a funnel and a ladle, and we're going to put those in to our jar. Ooh, that looks good. And we're going to leave a 1/2 inch headspace. That might be too much. Okay, so I have this little gadget here, and it has numbers on the ends of it, and it lets me know if it's an inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, or whatever. So I'm going to that on the side. I've got to get my glasses on. I can't see those numbers. So on the 1/2 inch, I'm going to put the 1/2 inch inside, and then I'm going to make sure that the very bottom of this right here just skims the height of the liquid to where we know that that is a 1/2 inch headspace. Now what I'm going to do with the vinegar, because you saw how I kind of made a mess, we want to make sure that your seals seal perfectly and stay sealed. So we have to make sure that the top of the jar is very, very clean. So we use distilled vinegar. It's kind of warm, and we'll just go around the top of the seal. And I like to go around the edges also because I know, see, I've spilled that down there. So I go around the rim and then around the edge also. And also, before you use your jars, this stuff is fixing to make me start coughing my throat. You need to make sure that you go over the edge of your jars like this and make sure that there's no crack, break, chip, or anything, or else your seals will not seal. Okay, so there we go. We have our 1/2 inch headspace. And I'm going to go over to the, well, we can just do it here. So I just had my seals and my rings sitting in just a simmering water. So now I've got this gadget. It has a magnet on the end, so you don't have to worry about getting your fingers burnt from the water. You put your seal on, you get your lid, and you're just going to finger tight, just like that. You don't want to go super tight. You just finger tight is all you do. And then since we are ready for this to go over into the canner, and I want to make sure that my jar stays hot, I'm going to go ahead and pull it over to the canner. That way it stays hot while I am continuing to do the process with my next jars. We're going to ladle up our cowboy candy. I think got too much in that one. Yep. That happens. just get a spoon and we're going to spoon it out. No big deal. Just want to make sure you don't burn your fingers. Okay, I think that might be just a little, let's see, check our headspace. Okay, very good. Now I'm going to get my vinegar and go around the rim. And then I got to go around the edges too, and that is hot. Get my seal, put my seal on, get my ring, put my ring on. It's called finger tight. That's all. You don't want to go any tighter than that, and then you want to get it back over to the heat. Especially my house, we keep it really cool in the summertime, and I don't want my jars to get cold. Like I said, this is getting to me. So I'm going to finish the rest of this on these. Okay, so I've got my thermometer, and I just like to put it in there just to make sure that I can keep the water at the temperature that I want. And I just get it on the edge there. We're boiling. Everything's in. So I'm just going to lower this down into the pot. And we've got plenty of space over the jars, and I'm just making sure that they're not tipped over quite too much. Let me see what my temp is. Right at 180. So we're going to stay there, and we are going to process these for 15 minutes. We'll just come back in 15 minutes and we'll have all of our cowboy candy done for the day. My lips are still burning. Not quite as bad though, but just a little bit. Okay guys, our timer has just gone off on our water bath canners, so I'm going to turn the heat off, take the lid off, and let the temperature come down for 5 minutes, and then we'll get them out and put them on our towel. Okay, I'm going to try something. Ooh, I might not be able to do it. I put my jar grippers in the dishwasher. Ugh. So I'm going to try something. I'm going to try to grab it out with my hands. There. I was just going to pick it up, but I think I'll just use a gloved hand. There we go. Those look amazing. Okay guys, we are done for this hot day on the farm. Oh, did you hear that? Just popped. It's sealing great. One thing I do want to remind you of is when you do take your cans or your jars out of your canners, make sure you leave a little space in between so that they can get some air in and not have the glass touching. Sometimes that doesn't do well with your canning. So this is where I'm going to leave them for the next 24 hours. I am not going to tighten any of the seals down. I'm going to leave them just like this, let them rest for 24 hours. Then I will take the seals off and store them wherever I want until it's time to use them. Thank you so much for joining us today in the kitchen at Rockin Farm. I thank you for all of your support for our channel. And guys, make what you have beautiful.